The rain out-preached me all day. Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. We'll start down about the 19th verse. Thank you, sir. Paul was writing to the newly converted Gentile church, letting them know that your salvation, your entrance into Israel's covenant, was not a fluke or not something that just somebody made up, but that it had been written in the prophets. They had a foundation to stand on. And he said this in verse 19. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together grows into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you are also builded together for a habitation of God through the Spirit. Now, everything, folks, that is built must start with a foundation. And nothing is stronger than the foundation that it's built on. And Paul was telling the Gentile church, you're built on a strong foundation. You're built on what the prophets said, what the apostles said, and the chief cornerstone is Jesus Christ. And folks, if you know God this morning, you have a strong foundation, one that cannot be destroyed. Remember the parable that Christ was talking about over in Matthew 7, about two men who built houses, one built them on a rock, one built it on the sand. And the one on the sand, when the storm came, collapsed, and Christ said, and great was the fall of that house. So we have to be careful on what we're building on, folks, because if the foundation crumbles, the house crumbles. And everything is built on some foundation. Now in Matthew 16, when Jesus was talking to Peter, he asked Peter who these men said that he was. And Peter said, you know, some say you're Elijah, some say you're Jeremiah, some say one of the other prophets. And Jesus said, but who do you say that I am? And Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And he said, flesh and blood has not revealed that to you, Peter, but my Father which is in heaven. He said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. He was saying, Peter, you know who I am. I know who you are. And on this relationship, on this knowledge of where we're at, what our positions are, I'm going to build my church. And hell shall not prevail against it. So folks, Jesus said that. The creator of the universe said, hey, hell will not prevail against the church that we established. And Jesus was a carpenter. He never built a building. The church he established was a doctrine, the truth of God, and it was based on people understanding that he was who he said he was, and that we were just followers. And I wish everybody could get that. He didn't send us here to build a church. He sent us here to help build a kingdom. He's already established the church. And anything else that we build must be built upon the foundation of the truth that he laid. Our folks, we're in deception. There's a lot of deception going on out there. Brother Tim was talking about a while ago about the Olympics. Having the drag queens, you know, do a live supper. But we shouldn't be surprised at these kind of things. We are in a time where there is a world leader coming. The world is preparing us to be a part of it. Whatever doctrine focus you hear, whatever you have experienced, and there are many, check the word and see if it has a biblical foundation, or does not have a biblical foundation. It won't stand life's storm. It is very deception, and it is true. See, to be deception is got to sound good. If it didn't sound good, nobody would have seen it. Okay, this is what we go back to see if it's being built on the foundation that Christ established. Paul was speaking to the church of Corinth about being in the church. And he warned them. He said, for no other about building in the church, he said, no other foundation can a man lay than that which is already laid, which is Jesus Christ. In other words, no matter what you're building, it must be anchored in Jesus. Now we can establish great big buildings. We can gather in a lot of numbers. But if it's not established on the Word of God, folks, it won't stand in these right places. There's a storm coming. I'm not talking about a physical storm. I'm talking about a spiritual storm. The spiritual storm is coming, folks. Only the truth is going to stand against it. And talk about the Olympics, you can just expect more and more of this. Because as people reject God, they accept the man that's coming, which is the Antichrist. But God always moves things together to make sure His word stands. He takes all the pieces and puts them together to make a solid foundation. You realize how many things God had to put together to even get Christ's birth to fit the prophecy. And the prophet said he would be born in Bethlehem. But Mary and Joseph was not living in Bethlehem. They were living in a place called Nazareth. Now, Mary was about to give birth to Christ. And so they had to be in Bethlehem. But Joseph would have never took his wife being that much pregnant on that journey had he not had to. But God. Caesar Augustus hired the tax. It said that everybody had to go back to the place of their birth. Mary and Joseph was originally from Bethlehem. They had to go back there to be taxed. So they were forced to go back to the place where they were born, the place where the prophet said Jesus would be born there. And he had brought a bunch more people ahead of them to fill up all the rooms. Because Christ had to be born in that stable. That's where sacrifices are born, in a stable. So Christ had to be born in that stable. He said, God, he would move and set a new star in heaven. Because the prophet said, out of Jacob will arise a star. So they were looking for a star. So God moved all these pieces together to make sure, to create a foundation, to make sure his son is born according to his word. At the right time, in the right place. Now, Israel, you can look at the nation of Israel. The prophets had said Israel would be, in the last days, would become a nation again. Israel hadn't had a nation in hundreds of years. And in the land of Israel at that time was occupied by the Ottoman Turks. But they chose the wrong side in World War II. And when Germany was defeated, England was put over that land. And God had set a man over in Great Britain, a Jew. And he invented TNT, and smokeless gunpowder at a time when the Allies were running short on gunpowder. And he helped them win the war. And so they asked him, what could they give him as a reward? He said he didn't want anything, but he wanted a homeland for his people. And so in one day, Israel, the nation of Israel, was born on May 14, 1948. After all those years not having a nation, Israel was a nation again. Exactly like God said. He laid that foundation and brought it to pass, folks. See, all the prophets, when God speaks something, Peter said we can depend on the prophets more than we can depend on what we saw with our eyes. He talked about Christ over in Peter. He said that we saw all these things that Jesus done, but we have a more sure word than what we saw. The prophets. See, when God says something, it's settled. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. Now, in Revelation 16th chapter, verse 12, the Bible tells us that during the coming tribulation, folks, the Euphrates River will be dried up so that China and the kingdoms of the east can come across the dried up riverbed with their armies to take their place in destiny in the battle of Armageddon. Right now, they tell me that there are places you can step across the Euphrates. It's dry. It's dry. And just according to this prophecy, no, it's a foundation for this prophecy. Because it said the river would be dried up. When the tribulation starts, when the tribulation falls, folks, the judgment is open. The Euphrates will not just be a trickle, it will be dry. Now, you can find the Euphrates River mentioned in Genesis when God's creating them. So it's been there forever. It's been the buffer zone for a lot of armies, warring armies, because the Euphrates was attacked. And today, water supply is dependent upon about 23 million people. And she's dry. What it is a foundation for the coming tribulation when she'll completely dry. Agriculture in that area depends on it. It starts over, I believe it's in Turkey. It runs down through the Iraq and empties into the Persian Gulf. But it is dry, and just what we're seeing is a foundation being laid. What we see all around us, folks, is foundations being laid for the coming tribulation. And you don't want to be here when the actual thing starts happening. If you think the foundation is pretty rough, wait till the tribulation is poured out. No, don't wait. Because there's a church leader in Revelation 4, in the 4th chapter, in the 4th verse, after that you don't see the church on earth anymore. And there's a lot of Christians who believe that they're going through the great tribulation. No, folks, not unless you choose to stay. Because Christ is coming after a church without spot, wrinkle, or blemish. And the blood took out the wrinkles, not the blemish, but keep the pressure, or take out the wrinkles. Hey, we're going to face some stuff. We're already facing some stuff. And we're going to see some stuff that we thought we'd never see, especially in America. Because the devil is exceedingly mad at the truth. So I think the other day on Facebook, and the man was exactly right. He said, when they crucified Jesus, said the crowd was crying out to release Barabbas. He said it wasn't because they loved Barabbas, it was because they hated the truth. So that's what we're seeing today, folks. And the Jewish nation, or if you turn TV on, you see that they're under the gun. That the Jewish nation and the church, because we're part of that covenant, will come under greater and greater persecution as we enter that time thereafter in the great tribulation. But now, in Revelation 6, if you got your Bible, I want to turn over there. And by the way, Revelation starts out saying it's the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God showed to John. This is what Jesus saw happening. So folks, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we see over in the 6th chapter where these seals of judgment are open and unleashed the great tribulation. He writes about these seals symbolically as a portion. Scholars call it the horsemen of the apocalypse. And they're symbolized in what's coming. The first one he sees on that 6 and 2, look, and I saw behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had his bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went forth conquered and to conquer. The first thing that's going to happen as the tribulation begins is this rider of the white horse, which will be the Antichrist, folks. He will step forward as a world leader, and the world has never been so ready for him as they are right now. See? And he will be for the devil what Jesus was to God. He will be everything that Satan is. But he will appeal to man because, folks, he will appeal to the lust. He will appeal to the man's desire, to the flesh's desire. And like I said, the world has never been so ready for him. And soon he will step out. Daniel the 8th chapter says he will present himself as a man of peace. And he said, by peace he will destroy many. By peace. In other words, he'll look like the world, he'll look like the Savior. He will talk about bringing peace. But man cannot bring peace only for a short time, folks. Because until the Prince of Peace gets back, there's not going to be a lasting peace on the earth. Because man is always wanting power, always wanting to rule, always wanting authority over somebody. But he was kept forth to rule the world. And the Bible said, I thought about this when I heard about this in the Olympics. The Bible said because of their unrighteousness, God would send strong delusion that they should believe a lie and be damned. Because they had pleasure in wickedness and not in the truth. And so strong delusion is upon us, folks. All you got to do is cut on what used to be news and you can see strong delusion. I say used to be news because what you see now is not news, it's more propaganda. You might have just a smidgen of what's happening, but you'll have more propaganda than you do news. So the foundation is being laid. The technology for the Antichrist is already in place. Never has been before. See, the Bible talks about he'll come in with a false prophet, which is a religious organization, will back him. He talks about that he will put a mark on. Everybody knows this probably. He'll put a mark on everybody, and everybody accepts that. If you don't accept that mark, you can neither buy nor sell. Now see, that can't happen as long as we're dealing with cash. But if you notice how we're drifting away from cash, and soon there'll be a cashless society, and the world is doing the same thing. And after a while, folks, when this thing has come to a full, and I said, what we're seeing is the foundation being laid. When it's come to a full, it will be a cashless society, and everything will be run by the computer. So they'll know what you buy, when you buy, and so they can control it. And right now, this is being done. It couldn't have happened before. It could not have happened before the computer age. But we see it now coming full force. But after the rider on the white horse, he'll come in promising peace, but he can't bring lasting peace. But people have already rejected the Bible, so they're looking for something. We talked about this morning before church started. You would have never saw the Olympics or any other group slapped in the face Islam or even Buddhism. It's always the Jews or the Christians. Why? Because it's the only enemy the devil's got. He don't care if you're deceived. He'll just let you be deceived. But if you stand for the truth, he don't like you. He does not like you. But after the Antichrist comes forward as a man of peace, of course he can't keep peace. In verse 4 we said this, and there went out another horse. And this is the seals being opened, folks, in periods of time beginning to happen. And he said this horse was red, and power was given to him that set therefore to take peace from the earth. You see that? And that they should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. In other words, this is the red horse of war. And I saw it twice this week where people who study war say that we're closer to the Third World War than we've ever been since the Second World War ended. Y'all see this week where Russia and China had to head off their planes heading into American airspace. They've never done that together before. So the lines are being drawn, folks. This thing is going to happen. Whether we like it or not, it's in the book. All we can do is be ready to go when that trumpet sounds. Because there's going to be a trumpet sound and the church is going to leave you. And when the church leaves, this foundation that's being laid will be fulfilled with the actual thing. But to build his kingdom, the Antichrist has got to get the foundation laid. He's getting it laid. But the red horse of war, folks, has the world already on fire with war. You notice that? Wherever you look, if it's not war, there's somebody preparing for war. China is preparing to take Taiwan. And I really look for it before this president goes out. Because they see the weakness of America. You know, Taiwan's looking for it. They're doing the war games, expecting it to come. So you go, any day you can wake up in a new world, completely new world. So the hope that I'm giving you is that Jesus has a way out. He has a way out. Jesus has given us a promise, and the church is predestined to go out of here. Just be part of it. Just be part of it. And then we see verse 5, and he says this, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see, and behold, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. We all know what balances does. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. On the day, I saw a man, he had wrote about this, and on the days, if you line this up with the way it is today, he said that these 3 measures of barley for a penny. In those days, a penny was a day's work. So he said it would kind of even out to $10, a day's work for a loaf of bread. So food's going to be rationed. It said, see, if you heard of the oil and wine, the oil and wine in the days that John was writing this was a commodity for the rich. They're the one that owns the oil, they're the one that owns the wine. He said, don't touch the top echelon. They'll be the one that will be giving whatever they think you need to you. They will be measuring out to you. And you notice this is grain that he's talking about here. A measure of wheat and 3 measures of barley. So you don't have famine if you don't have tomatoes. You have famine if you don't have grain. And so this war in Ukraine was the 4th exporter of wheat and grain. And so it stopped that. But folks, more and more we're getting into that area where the foundation is laid, where the real thing is going to come to pass. It's going to come to pass pretty quickly. Now, I don't know how much time will left between these seals. The Bible doesn't say. But I think they're going to be probably pretty rapid fire when they really start. Pretty rapid fire. And folks, we're seeing the foundation. If you go by and you see where somebody has cleaned out a place and putting up cement blocks and measuring it off, you know that it's to build something because they're laying a foundation. Well, you see these things happening, you should know that the foundation is being laid and the building's going up. And the building's going to be the great tribulation, folks. It's going to be the great tribulation. But a black horse of famine comes with balances, simplifying the ration of food. And famine always happens when there's no grain. But the Bible points out, that the elite won't be touched. The elite will be set up where they'll be above you. And that's already there. We talked about the other day, wherever there's a dictatorship right now, it's those in the government. It's the ones that's getting the food. It's the ones that's getting the riches. And the people are suffering. Over in Korea, the only fat folks you see is Kim Jong-un and his followers. The people are skinny as they're starving. But the elite still eat. And that's the way it'll be, and that's the way it's going to be in America, folks. It's going to be worldwide. And the beast is the Antichrist will step forward as the Savior. But he'll be the one that's deciding whether you and I can get anything. If you're still here, don't be here. Don't be. The only hope we have of trying not to go through this tribulation is to don't be here. Now, I know I got a pastor buddy that said he wanted to be here where he could help somebody. Well, if you're going to help somebody, you better help them now. You better help them, because when it gets to where people can't go to the grocery store and get food, it's going to be harder to convince them not to take that mark if they don't know Jesus. And you hear folks say, oh, I'll never take that mark. Well, you ain't never been hungry. Your kids ain't never been hungry. Because when it comes down to that, folks, it's going to take some faith not to take it. If you can't stand for Jesus now, what makes you think you'll stand for Jesus then? Don't be here when all this comes to fullness, folks. It goes down and it says this. It's look, and when he opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the 4th part of the earth to kill with the sword as war, with hunger, with death, and diseases, and the beast of the earth. Now in the Greek, this pale horse, it says green. A green horse. A green horse comes forward. Now, you ever heard of a plan called the New Green Deal? Anybody ever heard of that?
Yes, I know.
The New Green Deal. Let's save the planet. And it's not just here. It's worldwide. It's worldwide. And they want to do away with the growing of animals for food. Let's kill the cattle industry. Let's kill the chicken industry. Let's kill the pork industry. Let's kill the fish industry. Y'all can eat bugs. The Bible says the population will die from starvation. But it's to save the planet. This green horse will come forth. Let's save the planet. Let's get back, to the basics, and let's do away with so much of the population. One part of that plan is to shrink the population, because they say that it's the humans that is causing the destruction of the planet. And right now, folks, there's a war on farmers. There are all kind of regulations. They're saying, hey, it's the farm equipment that's causing too much pollution, so they're cutting out the farmers. What's that going to cause? Mass starvation worldwide. And again, they want to go everything electric. How many knows that electric tractors cannot do half of what the gas-powered tractor can do, because they got to stop and charge them up? And that's the craziest thing. They build chargers to charge electric vehicles, and they have to have electricity for the charger to charge electric vehicles. And electricity is built through fossil fuels.
Yes.
But folks will just swallow whatever's handed out just because of where we're at. If you want an electric car, good, get you an electric car. But let's don't force it on everybody. And again, folks, this saving the planet. If you think they save the planet, just read the rest of Revelation. They don't save the planet. They don't save the planet. The planet, this is going to all be wiped out one day. And Christ said, I'll make all things new. So the new green horse, the green horse that's coming forth is this environmental push across the world. And I'm all for having a clean environment. I don't know, anybody wants a polluted water? Anybody wants polluted air? But if you go save the planet, but kill the people, what you saving it for? The roaches and the bugs? Come on, folks. But we're seeing that foundation. We're seeing that, we got that little girl, what was her name? Greta. You know, talking about that came over to America and was screaming, you're ruining my childhood. You got to stop all this. And folks, you made her a rock star. Folks, it's not man that's causing global warming. It's sin.
Amen.
It's sin. Do you think God put something in the ground that was going to destroy the planet? No, not. And fossil fuels, there's a lot of sin. So we just accept whatever we're told, because science says. Dinosaurs made the oil. Well, you tell me how many dinosaurs it would take to get millions of barrels of oil a day. There's a bunch of dinosaurs, wasn't there? Things rotten. But they found out now that some of these oil wells, when they run them dry, a few years later they go back and oil comes back in them. Somewhere these dinosaurs still dying, I reckon. But folks, don't swallow what you're being handed. Get in the Bible and see what it says. Because what we're being handed is a setup to the coming world leader. And to do that, they got to push away Jesus. And that's exactly what's happening. You see it in the Olympics. You see it all over. You see it, Gay Pride Month. And am I against people? I'm not against people. I'm against the sin that kills them.
Yeah.
And it's still, if the Bible said it was sin, it's still sin. And all this transgender stuff, what is that? That's rebellion against God's right to rule. But I'm going to tell you, if you were born a man, you might get sissy, but you'll die a man. If you were born a woman, you'll die a woman. In the beginning, God made them male and female. And the Democratic Party made all these other genders. But that's all right. God still recognizes too. He recognizes, but all of this, folks, is a build up to a coming world leader that will embrace all of this. We will embrace it. But, you know, now, they're all over the world. They're passing laws to regulate the water supply. So the farmers can't farm. Fertilizer is causing global warming. Cows causing global warming.
Yeah.
Chickens causing global warming. Well, folks, if you're going to stop the cattle industry, are you going to kill all the elephants? Are you going to kill all the giraffes, all the hippos? I'm pretty sure that they pass gas too. I mean, that's just me, but I'm pretty sure it helps. It helps. So see, folks, what you're getting is a plan laid out to deceive you into believe, into following blindly whatever the government says. And let's just think about it for a while. What government do you know, or that you've read of, which one did you know that is actually established and survives for you, for the people? Used to. Anymore, the government now survives for the government. I mean, everything is about surviving for them, not for you. But it's because, folks, we're in that area, the foundation must be laid, it must be laid quickly, because I guarantee you, if I knew who the Antichrist was, and I spoke his name, you'd recognize him. He's already here. He's not in power, but he's coming in power. And the Bible lays out, see, it must be frustrating to the devil, because the Bible lays out everything in detail. It tells where he's coming from. It tells what he's going to do. So everything the devil starts to do, if you get the book, God's got it exposed. So folks, we're living in an exciting time. But we're living also in a desperate time if you don't know Jesus. If you're going to ever talk to your loved ones about Jesus, now's the time. If you're going to ever make a decision to follow him, now's the time. Because, well, I don't know. We talked about this Thursday night. I heard folks say this. You know, I don't know about the Bible. It was written by man. Do you know of a book that wasn't written by man? You go to a doctor, and he studies books written by man. Yeah, it was written by man. Prophecies to minute detail, and they happen. Then, you know, we have these fortune tellers around here, and they'll brag, 80% of our, what we say comes true. 80% comes true. Pretty good guessing. But if you called yourself a prophet, and you get about 80% right, they'd stone you in these days. In the days when the Bible was being written. If you were a prophet, you better get it right. And the only way you could get it right is because God had already looked forward in time and told them. See, God wasn't guessing. When he told the prophets what to write, he already saw it in time. Now, when John wrote the Revelation, and he talked about the whole world being marked, folks, they didn't have a telephone. They had no communication. That was an impossibility. The foundation was laid. And now, we've got the technology for the whole world to be marked. They can put on a chip the size of a grain of rice all your information, everything. And once that's embedded, it's got you. And I guarantee you, the way the world is now, if he showed up today and said, hey, you can't buy no more groceries without the chip, folks would line up. You have to stand in line to get it. Because we've been handed a bill of goods. We have not been told the truth. And the foundation that we're seeing laid tomorrow will maybe come into full time, into full being. So get ready to leave or get ready to stay. Either way, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. In World War III, hey, like I said, they say it's closer than it's ever been, and I'm sure it is. But folks, we want to be out of here before that happens too. We want to be out of here. So the only way to do it is to get this kingdom of God built. Get the last one in. You know, one day, and you've heard me say this before, see, we're in what the Bible calls the time of the Gentiles. We are all Gentiles. I don't think anybody here was born a Jew, was you? I guess everybody here was born a Gentile. We are in the time of the Gentiles. It's our time now. But the time of the Gentiles was closing. The Bible talks about time when it will close. The time of the Gentile. Someday soon, the last Gentile will come to an altar somewhere and accept Jesus as his Savior. And the church will be gone. And all hell will break loose. All hell will break loose. The Antichrist will step forward and everybody will be under his thumb, like it or not. And the Euphrates River that is drying now will be completely dried in. But a few years ago, nobody would have thought that could have happened. The Euphrates dried up there. But John said it was dry. And she's dry. And the foundation's still laid. And John talked about an army from the east. A 200 million man army. And when John wrote that, there wasn't 200 million people in the world. I'm pretty sure some of them folks said, John, you can get that number a little closer together than that. 200 million? China can fill that many today. 200 million. We're living in troublesome times, but we're living in exciting times because we're going to see the fulfillment of everything that Jesus said for the church. Hey, we're going to see the church rise up like she has never done before. We're going to see people saved. We're going to see people healed. And we're going to see people leave here. Go with us. Go with us. You've heard me say this a lot of times. I've had people say, I don't want to go without you. Well, I don't want to go without you either, but I will. If you decide to stay, don't save me a seat. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Because it's a serious time we're in. Don't let the devil tell you you've got plenty of time. None of us knows how much time we've got here. Or this time. We may not ever make it back to church again. But if you know Jesus, we're going to make it there. Because when we put it in his hands, he can't fail. We may have to start having church on Saturday. If the man's never done it. And the kid reads the stuff. But if you see an old man building a boat, kill people. And all animals lined up. But we think God will arrange it for something. The boat in City Gate said, get ready, get ready, get ready. Because you're soon going to either meet the Antichrist or the King. And the choice today is ours. But I don't know how much longer we're going to have the choice. One day, too loud now. One day our choice will end. And we'll stand before the King just the way that we are. Whatever choice we make. Whatever choice we make. I saw a thing the other day that said, there's a reason for everything that happens in your life. He said, I've discovered something. Most of the time it's because we've done something stupid. I don't know about y'all, but I've done a lot of things stupid. But one thing I did that was stupid, that was make Jesus my Savior. So, this morning, you don't know the freedom of God is time without one. Because we never know when our time here on earth is up. Regardless of what some religious order teach, you don't get a second chance. This is it. This is our chance. This is our time of choice. This right now, I don't know. The Bible says with a tree falls, there actually also life. But Jesus died on that cross so that none of us will have to perish. He said, whosoever believes in him and puts their trust in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Now what we've had down here, folks, and I've enjoyed it. I enjoy life. But real life is still ahead of us. We have existence down here. So we have to have air, we have to have the right temperature, we have to have food. But real life, we just have to have Jesus. This country. Sister Anita was talking a while ago about the marriage supper of the Lamb. Now, I like to eat, you can tell I do. But I never have to eat those food that you just prepared. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Because I guarantee it'll be good. But how about for you this morning? If Christ came before we got back to church again, would you be ready? If the trumpet sounded before we got back to church, would you be ready? Make sure that you are.